second chance in the game.
All right, Coach J.D. Atkins here with the AL Football Chat. We're back at the online clinic hosted by Chief Pigskin here in Birmingham, Alabama. Sitting down with my co-host Will Johnson again, and this time we are talking with Sean Talsma, defense coordinator at Hewitt Trussville. Coach, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing today?
Man, we are making it.
Can't
No
complain a
complaints
bit.
here. It's been awesome to just sit here and, like we said, talk ball all day with some of the best and brightest minds in our state. And fired up to have you here. What are you going to be presenting on today?
Today I'm going to talk about building your toolbox, kind of what we do in the summer, defensively, just, how we focus on installing certain things, and then our tackling, what we do, turnover drills, and how we install everything through the summer so that we don't spend a ton of time during the season actually teaching new stuff. We're just critiquing what we've taught in the summer. And then my second session, we're going to focus on two-out safety schemes.
Awesome.
Well, Coach, to dive into it just a little bit more than that, as a defensive guy, what is your base scheme that you like to run?
It's multiple.
Yeah.
As a high school coach, we can't recruit kids.
Yep.
So you basically, I had a buddy of mine ask me, he said, Coach, are you a 4-3, 3-4? And I said, how many defense linemen do we have?
No doubt about that, brother.
And that dictates what you are. Don't try to, be hard-headed, and say, I'm a 4-3 guy. Well, if you don't have 6 to 8 defensive linemen, you're not a 4-3 guy.
Yeah.
You're probably going to be a 3-4, 3-5, 3-3 stat, something.
Yeah.
But, I think that dictates each year. Since my 5 years at Hewitt, we have been 3-man front, predominantly 3 of those years, and a 4-man front 2 of those years.
Okay.
So I just think you have to continue to grow. I mean, I've coached, this is my 25th year. I've been in multiple states, but, in that time, I think you just have to continue to grow as a coach and learn.
Yeah.
So just be multiple.
Yes, sir.
I want to get more into your time at Hewitt, but before we do, kind of talk about your road to Hewitt, where you started and then some of your mentors that have gotten you to where you are today.
Okay. I'm from Michigan originally, so I was very pleased, one of the 12 people in the state when, Michigan won a national championship. But, I started there. That's where my family's from. And then I just picked up and moved after 2 years of coaching up there. And I moved to Georgia, and I was in Georgia for 5 years. And then I ended up getting over here to Birmingham. I met a guy from Kentucky, took a job at Pelham High School. So I was there for 1 year, and I worked with David Shores. He was the defense coordinator at the time. I was coaching secondary. And then I got a call from John Holliday, who was at Clay Chalkville, and I was there for 13 years. And then throughout that time, there was 4 different coaches in my tenure at Clay. But Jerry Hood is the one that really mentored me and got my foot in the door as defense coordinator for him. And I stayed there until 2018, and then I've been at Hewitt since 2019. So
awesome. Well, talk a little bit more about your time at Hewitt. Has I don't know exactly the dates, but has that all been under Coach Floyd?
It has, yes, sir.
Okay.
It has. I was at Clay until 18, and then they made some changes there, and I had some opportunities at other schools. And Hewitt, I didn't know Coach Floyd at all. I met him, and we had a really good connection the first time. I prayed about it. We were doing 21 days of prayer during that time, and it just was like, hey, this is the spot you need to be. And when I got there, it's different than Clay, obviously, but I think anywhere you go, you can help kids, and it doesn't matter what their background is. If they have a lot of money, if they don't have money, if their parents are divorced, if they have Brady Bunch family, whatever, I'm doing it to help kids, and try to pour into kids. And my cell phone number hasn't changed in, 18 years in the state, and it's because I keep contact with all those kids that I used to coach. I've got one from Clay that he just became the strength coach at Washington.
Oh, wow.
You know, he was at Arizona and head coach there, went to Washington, and he went to Washington with him. You know, so I mean, I pour into these kids, and it's a lifetime. You know, it's not just something that I'm there for, just on the field stuff. So.
Well, walking right into this question off of that answer, Coach, I've asked everybody over the past 2 days the same question, and it's what is your why? Why do you coach ball? Why do you get up out of bed every morning?
It's not work. I love what I do. You know, I mean, I'm a teacher. You know, I teach psychology. I have a kinesiology degree, but that's a fancy PE term. You know, so,
no doubt about
but
that.
I've taught PE, I think, 2 years out of 25.
Okay.
And I've either been history, psychology, social studies, something. You know, but I just love to pour into kids and try to make a difference in their lives. You know, I believe in the way I grew up. It was all about an earn it mentality. You know, I don't believe in things just being given to you. So I try to instill that in my kids. You know, no matter where I go, I think that that's going to be my mantra that I stay with always is just, hey, if you want more playing time, you got to earn it.
Yeah.
You want a state championship, you got to earn it. You know, you want a scholarship in college, academically, go to Samford, you got to go earn it. I mean, nobody's going to give you anything. And I think if people just give you things in life, you don't appreciate it.
Yeah.
I mean, I still have the pellet gun when I was 12 years old that I had to raise my money for and buy myself. You know, so I mean, it matters.
Yeah.
You know, you got to earn those things in life. So.
Well, you know, at Hewitt, it's no secret you guys have had a plethora of really good defensive players y'all have put out over the last few years. You know,
Yes,
I
sir.
think about like Malachi Moore and some of these DBs, and also the Osborne kid at D-line and the Finkley kid and some of these guys.
Yes, sir.
What's it like coaching those type of players and you know, just kind of speak on those guys a little bit?
You know, those kids, you critique fine details with them. You know, Hewitt's a place where I think you have to develop kids. And, you know, our top athletes that we have there can play with anybody in the state. You know, it's just a matter of developing those other kids that we have, you know, that contribute. And, you know, we're not always going to have those SEC caliber players.
Right.
You know, but when you have one, it's special. Like my first year at Hewitt, the year before, Malachi was a corner. And I got there and I instantly said, look, this kid's too good. He needs to play safety, the star position for us. And get him more involved in run fits. He can cover. He's involved in the game. You know, a kid like Finkley, you just let him go. I mean, he was a beast. I mean, and he wanted to do everything perfect. And it didn't matter what it was. If it was in the weight room, in the classroom, his parents stressed, you know, academics for him. So, I mean, it's fun to coach those kids, but it's also fun to watch those kids that may not be as talented develop and then earn that scholarship somewhere, you know. So that's really rewarding as well.
Coaches, obviously we're in the middle of the off season. What are you doing? Who are you studying to grow as a coach, to get your guys in an advantageous position this season?
Well, I mean, last year we dabbled in a little bit of 3-high safety stuff, you know, so that's an area that I'm not very familiar with, but it's something that I think we have personnel for that. You know, kind of like what I said earlier, you know, are we a 4-3, 3-4? You know, what do we have? And I think we have more of those type of skill guys than we do linemen. So I'm really trying to dive into some different programs to just to study that a little bit.
Yeah.
And it may be something that we don't ever do. But again, I'm constantly going to be a guy that wants to learn new things.
No doubt.
You know, and then it's like, hey, let's think about this.
Yeah.
And then I've got a little bit of a knowledge base on it instead of like, hey, out of left field, let's just try it. And, you know, you try it on a Friday night, it doesn't work, and the head coach looking at you like, what are we doing here? You know what I mean? So, but that's definitely one of them. I mean, I think it'll be interesting to see what Alabama does.
Yeah.
You know, with their new defensive coordinator coming there. You know, I like that guy. I think he does a great job, some simulated pressure stuff. So, you know, I would like to look at some of that as well.
Okay, awesome.
You know, being a coach that's now been in it several years and been at different places and different states, talk a little bit about kind of the way you've seen the game evolve and change, or maybe come back to some things that used to be more prevalent.
Well, it's when I first started, I think everybody was under center because I'm so old, you know, and it was wing tee football and everybody handed it off, and you played with a tight end, you played with a sniffer, and then all of a sudden it went spread. You know, Tony Franklin, his system, and, you know, that's what we did at Pelham when I was there. And, You know, it's starting to get back to more guys playing with a tight end or, you know, a sniffer, you know, two in the backfield, something like that. So I think it's getting more of a smash mouth type game, you know, and even the throw game is a lot of get the ball out quick on the perimeter and let an athlete go make a play.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Well, and I'm going to piggyback off that same question right there and ask you this. You know, obviously being Michigan and Georgia and now Alabama, and with this being predominantly Alabama coaches here, what is the difference of football in between those states that you've noticed?
To be honest, I mean, it's been a long time since I was in Michigan, but, I mean, when I was there are small pockets of schools that it's really important.
Yeah.
It's not the entire state.
Yeah.
Georgia, because of just the number of people in the state, there's so many great athletes in that state. I mean, I was in a 1A school, and we had kids that went to the ACC and then went to the NFL from that school. I mean, so it's like there might be more athletes just because of the number. And when I got here to Alabama, I mean, it's football every single day.
Yeah.
You know, and from January 1 to December 31, it's football. And you're either in season, off season. I mean, and I love it.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I said it's not work.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, but I mean, I think it's important here. You know, there are some pockets I think that are stronger than others, but I think collectively as a state, the coaches all try to pull together, help each other out.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know, and just try to grow the program. And a lot of guys do it the right way. You know, and I think that's important, just helping each other out. I mean, I have no secrets.
Yes, sir.
You know, you can call me and say, hey, what are you doing right here? I'll tell you. You know, defensively, we're all trying to stop the offense anyway.
Yes,
so,
sir. No
you know,
doubt.
those offensive coaches all talk to each other. So we might as well do the same thing.
Yes, sir.
Well, you know, a lot of people have referred to you guys' region as like the SEC West of Alabama high school football. And with the recent realignment, reclassification, it's only gotten harder.
Oh, no
so,
doubt.
you know, talk about what it's like to be in that region week in, week out, and kind of how you guys prepare and do things.
You know, our region, there's no off weeks. I mean, it doesn't matter if you know, last year, Spain Park, Vestavia, Hoover, Thompson, I mean, elite programs, adding Hillcrest. I mean, they're all very well coached. Every single week, you're going to see a kid that's going to a Power 5 school.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's a receiver, quarterback, a lineman, whatever. I mean, so, excuse me, you've got to bring it every single week. And you got to love that. I mean, and for us, the way Coach Floyd does it defensively, I'm allowed to work as many hours as I want to. You know, we're not up there just because the school down the road may be up there working.
Right.
You know, we put in the work, and when we're done, he says, hey, how do you feel about the game plan? I said, hey, I feel good. And if we're up there late, he asks the question, hey, what's going on? We all right? Or, you know, but, I mean, I just love our region. It's extremely competitive. You know, there's no off weeks. And even the teams that we play are non-region games. I mean, you play teams that are really, really good. I mean, we played Central Phoenix City last year. Yeah. You know, we played Gadsden Cities, a really good 6A program. Yeah. So, I mean, we play some really good schools outside of our region as well.
Could you talk to us a little bit about Coach Floyd? Just what is it like to go to work for him every single day?
You know, he's a Christian man, and he exudes that in everything that he does, and he makes me a better coach.
Yeah.
You know, there's times that I may get a little frustrated, a little intense, you know, and I look at him and how he carries himself, and it brings me back down to where I need to be.
Yeah.
You know, how you treat kids, how you talk to kids, and you don't have to scream and yell at them to get what you want out of them.
Yeah.
Now, there is a time and a place. Sometimes it does happen.
No doubt.
And you got to know your kids. But, I mean, he lets me do my job.
Yeah.
He doesn't micromanage me. He doesn't stand over top of me and say, hey, you know, this week you're 4-3, the guard's weak. Are we going to stunt the A and the B gap versus He doesn't ask me those type of questions.
Yeah.
He says, you know, how do you feel this week? You know, what do you think about this guy? You know, hey, the receiver's really good.
Yeah.
Are we going to double him a little bit, or what do you think? But he lets us do our job, and I have a great staff, you know, defensively. I mean, I'm fortunate that I coach the safeties. Ben Raymer, who's been a coordinator before, he coaches my corners. Dylan Haraway coaches the inside linebackers, and he's our special teams coach. And he takes care of all the academics. So he's a great young coach. I mean, he's going to be a coordinator one day and a head coach, and have, you know, he's going to do it right.
Yeah.
And then Dylan Teague coaches my outside linebackers. And then I have 2 defensive line coaches. Even if we're in a 3-man front, I still have 2 guys. Danny Ward, who's been around the state for a while, and then Shaq Jones, who, he played at UAB, played in the league, and he was a new hire last year. So, I mean, we're fortunate to have a good number of guys. And we work with our 9th graders as well, though. Like, we don't have a 9th grade staff exclusively. So we work with them on a daily basis as well. So.
Well, that's awesome, Coach. We really appreciate you being here today.
I appreciate you having me.
We're going to, obviously transition you to your segment, but kind of like we've been telling everybody, we're really grateful for not only your time you're giving us, but kind of the outpour into the state. Like you said, you don't have any secrets you're willing to share with people, and that does nothing but grow the coaches in our game, grow our state, and does nothing but help our kids.
Yes, sir.
So we really appreciate you joining us today. We want to thank Chief Pigskin for putting on the online clinic here in Birmingham, Alabama, in conjunction with us, AL Football Chat. Again, thank you, Coach. Really looking forward to listening to it.
Thank you guys very much.
Appreciate you, man.